Project Search.
Hello, it's Danny again. Today, I'm going to be bringing you a presentation that's full of conversation tips. That is, hints and tips and advice for how to do your best at workplace conversation. Project Search, UTMC Remote Learning, Conversation Tips for the Workplace. This presentation will provide you with several tips to improve your conversation skills. Pay attention, there will be a quiz on this information during our next meeting. Tip number 1, open your ears, not your mouth. Don't hog the conversation. Make sure you are listening to your conversational partner. If you don't allow the other person to speak because you're too busy going on and on about what you think, it isn't really a conversation at all. It's a monologue. So a monologue is basically one person talking. When we have a conversation, it's a dialogue where two people, sometimes more than two people, talking together and taking turns. Tip number 2, show an interest in the person you are talking with. Ask questions. Show the other person that you care about what they have to say. Don't just sit and wait for your turn so you can talk about yourself. So you see here on the left, the person seems very interested in what is being said. And on the right, well, not so much. So make sure that you're giving the person who's speaking to you that respect by paying attention. Tip number 3, remember that conversation is a give and take situation. Don't just sit and wait for your turn so you can say what's on your mind. Listen so that when it's your turn, you will have something relevant to say. So if you aren't listening when the other person's talking, it isn't going to be very easy for you to then give back in the conversation in a way that makes any real sense. Make sure you're listening so that you know what that person's talking about and you can make a comment that has something to do with that topic. Tip number 4, be an active listener by giving eye contact, avoiding interrupting, and providing feedback to the person who's speaking to you. By actively listening, you can not only build good relationships with your coworkers, but you can also learn important things. So listen to the person who's talking to you. There are a lot of good reasons to do it, but mainly it's because you want that person who you work with to understand that you respect them and you care about what they're saying, that you believe that their opinion is important and that their point of view is important. And you can learn. You can learn from the people you work with, just like they can sometimes learn from you. But you won't learn anything if you don't listen actively. Tip number 5, remember that you do not have to be right all the time. When you talk with a coworker, you should allow them to express opinions that differ from your own without trying to argue with them or prove them wrong. Your employer will not be impressed with you if you waste time arguing. And furthermore, that coworker won't want to talk to you again if you insist on winning every conversation. So this also has to do with really being tolerant about the fact that people are going to have different points of view than you will, and that that's perfectly okay. You should be respectful of their opinions and not try to argue with people all the time just because you have some difference. So summing up, conversations in the workplace are great when we talk less and listen more. Show an interest in the person speaking to us. Remember that conversations are about give and take, Actively listen and avoid judging and attempting to prove your own point of view. So remember, you can go back through and look at these tips one more time so that you'll be ready to discuss these topics and be ready for the quiz. So the quiz will be conducted along with the discussion when we get together. So I'll say it one more time. You can watch this video one more time and make sure that you understand all the tips that were in there. And I look forward to it. I'm sure you'll all do great. See you soon.